Hello, everybody. This is Brett Davis coming to you from the beautiful island of Coronado on Memorial Day. I'm very honored to be working with my friend and, of course, new podcaster.
Thank you.
Bahman, how you doing?
Hi, good. I'm very good. Thank you.
So you tell us a little bit about your what you do in Coronado.
Okay. We have actually a center of integrated medicine. We have, I'm actually a holistic health practitioner. I am a Chinese medicine practitioner too. I study actually in China for a while. I study in India, holistic medicine in New Delhi, a beautiful city. I love that. And I study also in Africa. Actually, I was before electrical engineer, and I was also in Kenya, Tanzania, and Rwanda. I was in actually a company in Frankfurt called Engineers Helping Third World. And I was for actually 2-3 years there. We help Kigali. Kigali is a capital in in Africa. So we help them. And I study actually all over the world. And then I'm actually also, we are in Coronado and we're helping a lot of people. My slogan is actually helping people living pain-free life. And the holistic medicine is actually difficult as medical medicine. Medical medicine, medical doctor concentrating on specific area, which is also very good. I love it. But we concentrating on whole person. Whole person means for me, actually all holistic medicine, which you're going to hear from David also, how we help people in a holistic level means also we have we make 4 quadrants. The upper left is just physical body. The right, upper right is mental, and then lower left is emotional, and the other one is spiritual. Spiritual doesn't mean organized religion or any religion, because religion, everybody has a belief, but is it more trust yourself, trust to big picture in a word, and knowing that it's a high, sometimes we forget, and clients coming to me and forget that's a higher level helping us. Higher level means for everybody different. For me means love. For somebody else means God. Somebody quantum field. Quantum physicist says quantum field, and all this stuff. So we helping in all different level of being these people. So later on, we're going to hear from our friend and client, David, how I was able to help him. So,
well, let me give you a little history for the audience out there about David. And David, hello, before we talk about you, because I don't want you to feel like you're the third person. Well, he's like, I am the third person. So David Davenport is, of course, is a research did a fellowship at Hoover Institution at Stanford University. He is the co-author of 4 books, amazing, and is working on a new book called America's Civic Educational Crisis. David is also a regular columnist for the Washington Examiner. David, thank you for joining us.
Great to be here. Thanks.
In our own little island of Coronado. Who would have thought?
Yeah, I'm all the way across the island from you guys, which is what, maybe a 15-minute walk.
So how long have you lived in Coronado?
Well, on this version, this chapter, 3 years, but my wife and I also lived here 40 plus years ago when we were first married. And although we have lived all over California since, we always had in mind, wouldn't it be great if we could make our way back to the idyllic island of Coronado? So 3 years ago, we were able to move back, and it's great.
It doesn't, Coronado is like, it haunts you. It's not easy to forget it.
No, and we would visit regularly and keep it fresh in mind. And the good news was the last chapter before this was in Silicon Valley. And happily, it's one place where the housing market is even crazier than San Diego. So we were able to sell our house there and afford a house in Coronado,
That's so
Of
beautiful.
course, is always a concern.
So you were also the former president of Pepperdine.
Yes, we were at Pepperdine for 25 years, where I taught on the faculty and I played various administrative roles, and as you say, was also the president there.
I've heard very nice things about Pepperdine.
It's a great spot. I mean, it's overlooking the ocean in Malibu. It's a top 50 national university. It's just a great place, and we enjoyed a good long run there.
So you ended up having some pain issues, some challenges. Could you tell us a little bit about that and how you met Bahman?
Yeah, the origin for me is about maybe 25 years ago. I had a broken femur, a pretty serious broken femur in my leg, and did a ton of physical therapy, had a rod put in the leg, and a few years later, the rod's taken out. I've had to have a couple of arthroscopic surgeries on that knee. So with all the physical therapy that you do after that, one of the things you learn is the knee bone is connected to the hip bone and the lower back and the quad. It's all sort of connected in there. And my experience was, Brett, that maybe, I don't know, a couple times a year. I mean, I would always have some pain, some tightness. I always had to do stretching. But maybe a couple of times a year, I would have a more serious incident where just, the pain and the stiffness were pretty debilitating. And so I would have to go back to physical therapy and work that out again. Well, the way I found Bahman was we had just moved to Coronado. I had probably done too much physically in connection with the move. And when we got here, and I was very excited about bike rides and walks along the ocean and all that, my whole lower back leg locked up. I couldn't even walk a single block. And I thought, oh man, I've just moved to the most beautiful place to do outdoor exercise and I can't even walk a block. This is horrible. So I actually, because I was new and I didn't have a doctor yet and didn't know physical therapists and all that, I went online looking for help. And I found this guy who has what I call rock star reviews. Every review he had was 5 stars out of 5. And the descriptions were amazing about what he did. And frankly, I was desperate enough that I thought, okay, I have to try this guy. So that's what caused me to go to Bahman in the first place. A lot of pain, debilitation, unable to walk or enjoy exercise, and rock star reviews on the internet. That was my introduction to Bahman.
You hit your rock bottom. Nothing was working. Frustration, right. And so you're like, what else am I going to do? And then you see these reviews.
In one of our early visits, he said, you were brave to come to me. Don't even know me. And I said, no, Bahman, I wasn't brave. I was desperate.
So tell us about the therapy you went through with him a little bit.
Yeah, Bahman, as he said, he is holistic, and I'm happy to talk about some of the other things he did. But with me, he started with primarily his deep understanding of anatomy, what's connected to what. And I mean, he can always tell with me when I go in there where I'm hurting and where I have tightness and problems without my even telling him.
Wow.
Just touch, he can diagnose what I have, and he has a very deep knowledge of anatomy and what holds together. And primarily, Bahman began with me with therapeutic massage. As it turns out, I had developed a lot of scar tissue in my leg, which would limit my ability to walk or exercise. And then if you're not keeping your leg and so forth active, then things creep up into the lower back. And so I had back pain and so forth. So I started seeing Bahman, I think, once a week for maybe a couple of months. And I would say in the first, 6 weeks, I was 50% or more better and was out walking again and riding my bike again. And then we sort of continued from there. I've decided that given my unique problems from the broken femur, I have kind of a bent leg, if you will. And according to doctors, I have so much arthritis in my right knee. If you've had the injury and if you've had the surgeries, it attracts even more arthritis than you would normally have. So I have so much arthritis in the right knee now that they say you should definitely be, looking at a knee replacement, which, I'm willing to do, but not eager. So thanks to Bahman, and I now see Bahman twice a month at a very reasonable cost. I have not had to have the knee surgery, and I'm able to do everything I want to do. So I'm a really happy camper, and that's why I continue to see him on kind of a maintenance program at this point.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what's the pain in the knee?
Well, I always have pain. He said his slogan is pain-free, and I thought to myself, okay, we haven't quite gotten there yet, but I would say my pain is reduced from an 8 or a 9 down to a 4, say, maybe on a typical day. Besides helping me with the muscles and the so forth, Bahman has also introduced me to some gel that I use when I really need it on my knee that addresses the arthritis. And at first I thought, well, a gel, that you apply externally, that's not going to make a big difference. I'm frankly kind of a skeptic on a lot of new age and new ideas. And I have to tell you, I feel like a bit of a fool to say this, but it is my experience. Within a day or two, my pain from the arthritis on my knee was reduced by 50%. So the guy knows what he's talking about. And I told him recently, I said, Bahman, this is the best I've felt in 20 years.
Wow.
And again, I'm not, I'm an academic, I'm a skeptic, I'm not a guy who gets carried away about miracle cures or anything. And Bahman is not a miracle worker, but he is a healer. He has this deep understanding of anatomy and what is connected to what and what is problematic, and really helps you sort that through and work on the problems in a very diligent and responsible way.
So I want to give you just a short comment. When you talk about pain, so my goal was actually for you to make you be really flexible.
Yes.
Pain is going to be because of the problem that you have. That's a big issue. But my goal was to give you as much as possible flexibility in life. So, and at the same time, reduce the pain. So the pain reduction is going to take a little bit longer, but makes you so flexible so that you are not limited, in what you want to do. That's what my first goal.
Yes, and I completely agree with you about that, Bahman. As you get older, and you have or you fear you may develop other health problems, almost all of them are better handled if you can exercise freely, fully. So, diabetes, high cholesterol, heart health, even memory health, we are learning. All of these things are helped if you're able to do regular exercise. So one of the problems that a guy like me has is if you are limited, if you don't have flexibility and you can't get out and exercise, then you're much more subject to a lot of the larger health problems that begin to come in older age. So you are absolutely right that the most valuable thing you have given me is the flexibility. So every other day, one day I do with my wife a brisk walk around the island, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. And then on the alternate day, I take a bike ride around the island for the same distance. And, thanks to that, I've lost a lot of weight. My blood sugar is better. Kind of everything is better because, as you say, I have the flexibility to exercise continuously.
Tell us a little bit about the other level, like a blood pressure and you remember I give you a test.
One reason that I think Bahman will be good at podcasts is that while he's giving me the therapeutic massage, we talk. Not always. In fact, my last visit I took a little nap, but and he talks to me about other aspects of my health. Thanks to Bahman, it was his suggestion that I try intermittent fasting, for example. And I talked to my primary care doctor about this, and she said, we don't have enough medical science and tests yet to know that's effective, but she said, it certainly can't hurt you, and I think it might be effective. Well, I've been doing the intermittent fasting, not the most extreme form of it, and it has helped me lose actually quite a bit of weight in the last year or so. Bahman then talked to me about my cholesterol, and I said, oh, don't worry, I've taken a cholesterol medication for years and my cholesterol is good. He said, no, it's not just the total cholesterol. You have to understand about your large and small cholesterols. And in order to do that, you have to have an NMR test. And I said, well, I've never heard of that. So again, I asked my primary doctor, and she said, that's right. That would be a good idea for you. So I've taken the NMR test. And at Bahman's suggestion, he said, while you're at it, you ought to let them go ahead and do a scan of your arteries and see if you already have buildup. Again, my doctor said, that's a good idea. And so we did that as well. And so, as I said, he is holistic in that sense. Besides the flexibility and the reduction of pain, I've learned quite a bit more about my body and my health thanks to just suggestions that he's made, and I followed up on with my doctor. And my doctor has frankly agreed with all of the suggestions that he's made. So I'm probably 20, 25 pounds lighter than I was just a few years ago. And that's not been any, major emphasis of mine, but because I am exercising regularly, because I am doing the intermittent fasting, watching what I eat more, the result has been to lose weight and be healthier overall.
You look very healthy just looking at you. Your posture looks great. The way you're sitting, you just look very, you exude health. You look very healthy.
Yeah, he is.
That's the first impression. That's the first impression I get when I see you.
And Brett, I'm old, it's even more amazing.
So you remember we talk about your diagnostic of your doctor. Sometimes we talking. He says, you will see when you get pain and you have to come to me for surgery. And we say, no.
Yes, I've seen over the years, 2 or 3 orthopedic surgeons. And what they think I need is either 2 surgeries, one to bend or break my leg again, because it is not healed straight. It is healed with a pretty big bend. It's called windswept. It looks like, the wind's blowing through my leg and it's bent it. So they recommend one surgery to either bend or break my leg again so it will heal straight, and then a second surgery to insert a new knee joint. If I just do the knee joint, their fear is that the bend in my leg won't allow the joint to be very effective. Another surgeon said, no, the knee joints now are so sophisticated that you can kind of dial in and adjust for some of the bend. So maybe we can do this all with one custom knee joint. But once I started to see Bahman, as I said, kind of out of desperation, I'm able to do everything I want to do. And so now I think, well, why? I mean, patient satisfaction with knee replacement surgery is in the low 80%. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's not 100%. And I have issues besides just the joint. I have the bent knee. I've had 25 years of learning to walk with the leg as it is. So a surgery is not a slam dunk success for me. And I'm thinking, well, if by seeing Bahman once or twice a month, I'm able to do all the things I want to do and feel pretty good for my age, why would I go through the risk and the pain and the difficulty of all that surgery? So it's on the back burner as far as I'm concerned, unless I become more desperate again.
We have a question from a Miss Yerma Cook. She says, California used to have many resources that would provide exercise for the elderly. I think she's talking about me. I'm not sure if still, but budget cuts have taken many of those programs away. Do you know anything about that?
I don't know about it at the state level. I do know here in Coronado, the city, Coronado does have a pretty large elderly population. And the city, as a result, is pretty sensitive. There's a great senior center here in Coronado, yes. And the There's all kinds of continuing education. There's all kinds of gyms and exercise classes. So I know at the local level, we do have a lot of resources here. And
Yeah, we do.
but at the state level, I don't really know how California handles that statewide.
I mean, I heard we even get really good. If you live on Coronado, you get really, not that everybody plays golf, but I hear there's good rates on golf that we have here for seniors. I hear our swimming programs are really good.
Yep, we do. Bahman has encouraged me, and I've not followed. This is one area where I've not followed him as closely as I probably should. I don't really like to swim, and he's told me what a great exercise swimming is. And of course,
Yeah.
Coronado has a couple of excellent pools, and I dutifully followed his advice and joined the pool. But I don't really like to swim. Bahman said, "Well, then just walk in the water."
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, though that doesn't sound strenuous, if you walk at a good pace in water where you're getting the resistance but not the pounding that ordinarily walking gives you, it is a really good workout, and it's also been good for my leg.
So I know
something as simple as that is helpful.
There's some people that I know in history that used swimming.
Yeah.
Cary Grant used to swim an hour every day.
Yeah.
And he was in phenomenal shape up until he passed away. And then Jack LaLanne also used to swim an hour every day.
Mhm.
And I'm sure there's probably other people, but it is very low impact. It's one of the best exercises.
For me, is the analogy with swimming is like a fish. You see how the fish, how flexible they are. So you can't find more flexibility in any other things than fish, how flexible they are. So that's swimming. But for you, it would be more walking in the water better, or so sport, water sport would be good. So exercising. And so I remember I said, one of my, Anne, yeah. So Anne, I sent Anne to the water sport in Coronado, creating recreation center. And she said, man, when I was there, everybody was over 95 years old. I'm 50. And then they look at me and say, it's good.
Yeah.
My kids come over.
So the way I have used that, Bahman, is until the pandemic, of course, I traveled in my work quite a bit. And what I found was you can almost always have a pool where where you stay. And so you may not have 2 hours to go do a workout and clean up and all that, but you can take a half hour down in the pool and do the water walking. And so when traveling, I found that's a really good substitute for a heavier workout.
Well, you look fantastic. And I'll tell you, I love your testimony. And I know that there's a lot more people out there that they're lost. They don't know where to go with their pain.
Correct. Yes. A lot of people are there outside. And so pain is a big problem normally. So limit you not only on your physical level, also on your psycho-emotional and mental and everywhere. So you are more so desperate, like you say, and you don't know what to do. So recently came people with plantar fasciitis, which is really, really difficult things. And the doctors normally, they don't know what to do. So a lot of surgeons send them to me. And I have a really good story about that. One of the biggest surgeon, Dr. Gelb, sent me so patient who has to go, the lady has to go to London, but she couldn't go to London because of the pain that she has and the plantar fasciitis. And then I worked on her about 3, 4, 5 sessions, and she was able to go back. On the airplane, she sent an email to the doctor, said, "Doctor, thank you very much that you introduced me to Bahman. When I'm walking right now, I have the feeling I'm walking on the clouds. And so easy I'm walking." And doctor sent it to me and said, "Bahman, see what she says." And so that's how I help people with plantar fasciitis, sciatic nerve, headache, migraine. I have actually over 5,000 hours of extra training all over the world. Wherever I saw is a master can show me a small technique, I went there and learned to practice with my client. So that's what we do in our center here, actually, with holistic people.
Yeah. if I could just add a brief word from my experience, I've had some wonderful surgeons, orthopedic surgeons, but basically surgeons cut. And sometimes surgery helps you and sometimes it doesn't help you, but that's what surgeons do. So their solutions tend to be along the line of, well, let's do a surgery. I would say Bahman is more of a healer. He has this deep understanding of how things connect with one another. And he goes beyond just sort of a single solution, as he just suggested. And everything he does is scientific. It's not, he's not, frankly, sorry, Bahman, but you're not a miracle worker, but because, well, everything you do is scientific. It's based in evidence. It's based in training. But it's a connective kind of thing. So he can deal with soft tissue, for example, which a surgeon would not do. He can deal with the muscles and how they connect up. He can help with our arthritis. Last time I was there, he said, you should probably use some ice on your arthritis if you want to remove the pain. So the holistic approach is, I find, much more helpful than just kind of the single issue. Surgeons are primarily there to cut and to do surgeries.
The thing that he was telling me earlier about you is that you're a researcher.
Right.
So data and facts are very important for research.
Absolutely.
And you could go to anybody that would come up good. And I mean, apparently, you definitely know what you're doing with research and data. It's really hard sometimes when somebody is so intellectual to explain things to them because they have an answer for why everything's not working.
Right.
But you're a no nonsense type, I can tell. And so it's worked for you. And that says a lot about what you do, Bahman.
Yeah.
Because he can go to anybody. I mean, he's a specialist at what he does. Yeah. I also do research, so I understand.
The idea that I actually, in my leg and lower back especially, I feel better now at age 70 than I did at, say, age 55.
Oh, great.
I mean, I would never have expected that was possible. I just figured it was a constant deterioration followed by one or two difficult surgeries. And thanks to Bahman, I've had a better outcome with far less stress than these.
And we have a lot of fun together.
Well, we do.
Other things.
I now think of Bahman as a friend, and unfortunately I have to pay to visit him, but but it's very reasonable, and I get much more than
for
than
a
just
minute. I'm not friends. After that,
well, every friendship has a price.
There you go. I'm happy to pay this one, and it is quite modest. I'm just amazed by how reasonably I can receive these services.
Now, here's a question that comes to mind. And we were talking about this, that we were at an Indian motorcycle. He didn't get on a motorcycle, by the way, but we were at an Indian motorcycle. They're having a health fair over the weekend. And there was some other people there that dealt with, pain.
Plantar fasciitis for the other.
Right. We bumped into some people, but one thing that does come to mind is, and maybe you both can shed some light, and I've had pain in the past and I've worked through things, but how much is a psychological component connected to pain?
Psychology, a lot. That is one part of that called mental and emotional part, which is so important. So the best example is when you grow up in a family which was really impacted with sadness, you're going to be learning the sadness, and the expression of sadness is how do a sad person looks like. Normally shoulder up and high and then forwarded. When you do that, happens a lot of bad things in your body. As soon as you go higher in the shoulder and do that, called fight or flight response. Shoulder going up and you holding onto your breath as somebody's a lion is in front of you. Yeah. And then happens a lot of bad things like hormones, a lot of bad hormones coming. And so, and you holding onto it and you're not able to let go of it. Everything is in your mental and emotional, psychologically impact your physical body right away. So that's what they come. So sometimes people coming with this problem, and then we talk about it, and all of a sudden slowly goes down and back. So, and subconscious mind actually cannot distinguish between a real lion or a fake lion, like a stress, like a traffic, like a relationship, or
How about
whatever.
how about sleep?
Oh yeah, sleep is big one, because when you're sleeping, you go deep into the REM sleep, and at that time your body try to regenerate. I learned about that is about 6 semester in UCSD, just about that, how this impact you when you're sleeping from 10 to 2 o'clock. So physical body get regenerated, and from 2 to 6 o'clock, psycho-emotional level gets really regenerated. So, and happens over 1,200 different hormones coming up when you're sleeping. So around 10 o'clock when you're sleeping, what happens, your immune system come up from your spleen and your bone marrows,
Wow.
and then try to travel through the body, and you develop during the day between 100 and 120 different bad cells, like cancer cells, and then they are specific form of immune system called phagocyte. They go direct on this cells and this cancer cells and eat them, and they patrolling overall and cleaning up and going back home. And then from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock, psycho-emotional change, all the tiredness, frustration. People who are not sleeping, they are always under stress.
Is that 2 to
That's
6
right.
in the morning?
2 to 6, yeah, yes. And it's so healthy, so good to sleep from 10 to 6 o'clock in the morning.
Would you agree with that, David?
Yes, I tweak it a bit. I sleep from 11 to 7, and I sleep well. And I would add this, just, this is some of the practical advice that Bahman is able to give. He said, how do you sleep? And I said, well, I sleep on my side, first one side, then another side. And he said, do you use a pillow to help stabilize your leg and back? And I said, no, I don't. And he said, well, you ought to just put, a pillow between your legs and kind of stabilize things. In fact, for Christmas, my wife gave me, Bahman, I don't know if I told you, a little $15 probably orthopedic pillow that sits between my two knees and allows me to sleep even better. And so Bahman has kind of even given me a little sleep coaching, and I sleep well. And I totally agree that both sleep, and I would say for me, the ability to be outdoors exercising is also mentally very refreshing.
Absolutely.
And another thing I just mentioned that Bahman has sort of taught me is, unfortunately, my job is the kind doing research where you do sit a lot. And he pointed out the areas in my hip that are tightened up by a lot of sitting, and how that gets into your lower back very easily. And so he taught me some exercises and even some self-massage I can do to make that better. And again, that's helped me. So he's very much full service. How to sleep.
That calls, David, that calls ergonomic assessment.
That must be it. I call it full service.
Yeah, without knowing you. So I incorporate that because it's so important for clients to assess me. Actually,
Right.
called ergonomic assessment called how do you work? So
Right.
when you're hunching over a lot,
Yep.
or leaning to the side most of the time. So when you're working, so on the right side is computer and the left side is phone, and then you're hunching over, you're going to left and right, so you never all aligned. That's what I do. Ergonomic assessment is so important. I ask you a lot, and we try
You
to
do.
find out how do you, and try to correct it. That's
Right.
very important for me to
Right.
assess, and because for us at the medical people, it's very important the good diagnostic to know what is really going on. And we learned at our college a lot intuitive work. I learned about myself, and a lot about myself. How am I really inside of me? And then try to practice on my clients, and so this assessment, and try to give them as much as possible information in their daily life.
So if people are out there right now, and I'm sure everybody's dealing with some type of pain, And how could they get in touch with you? Do you have a website, or can you put your phone number out there?
Yeah, the phone number is going. Our friend Sarah put it. Thank you very much. Put it there. You will see that our people can see it. They can ask me also if they want. If they are not in San Diego, Coronado, they are somewhere else in India. I can give them advice all the time. So 619-957-3114 is the phone number, but also our website is www.sdholistic.com. So they can call us. We have also, it's not only me, we have a team. I have a good team, really professional teams. So chiropractor, naturopath doctors are there, and also acupuncture and facial and me. I do medical treatments, and yes.
Man, the island's going to be busy after this podcast.
Hopefully I can help.
You're like the I was going to say, this is horrible. I was going to say you're the McDonald's of healing. At a good, reasonable price with a variety of menu.
Yeah, he knows the price.
Sorry, David.
Much healthier.
a healthier version of McDonald's.
There you go.
Yeah, we love it.
Well, I've enjoyed being on the show, and David, thank you so much for your story, and I'm glad that you're feeling better. You look great.
Yep.
And we look forward to meeting you sometime. And you're inspirational because there are a lot of people out there that are a little bit lost, and they think that they don't know where they can go, and maybe this is a remedy for them.
Yes, something that I have to say about David, he's multitasking. So he's not only professor, he's not only writer. He run a show in a church. I didn't know that.
Really?
He can,
you run a show in a church? Tell us about that.
Oh, we're part of just a small church here in Coronado, so everybody has to step up. And I chair one of the committees, and I'm on the church board. And so, yes, we're active in our church, but it's just a small church here in Coronado. But I've always been active in church.
What's the church? What's the name of the church, if you don't mind?
This is Coronado Community Church. And before the pandemic, at least, we met in the elementary school here on the island. We don't even have our own building.
Really?
But, yeah. It's a little church of 50, 75 members. And it's when we moved here from the Stanford area, we were attending a church of 5,000 members. So this has been kind of a nice change for us.
Well, it's probably very tranquil, peaceful. Not to say the other one wasn't either, but sometimes smaller is better.
Correct.
Well, you get to know the people better, and you have to be involved. I mean, you can't, the church isn't going to function if people don't step up.
Oh, he's also a fundraiser, a great fundraiser.
What do you fundraise?
Oh, I'm trying not to do that now. Certainly, I mean, I was a college president for 15 years. I was a senior administrator at the Hoover Institution at Stanford for, 7 or 8 years. So, I mean, in those jobs, you have to raise money.
Yeah.
And so I've learned how to do it, and I'm able to do it. And I try now. I'm not doing it professionally now. Occasionally I will help. My current big commitment is civic education, and how important I think that is, and what a poor job we're doing in our school.
You're doing a poor
job.
I've
become involved with someplace called the Ashbrook Center in Ohio that I think does some of the best work on civic education. So I've helped them a little bit with fundraising. I'm helping them create a national advisory board that will, I think, make them a little stronger and more robust. And I've given them some guidance and some help on fundraising. So I try not to do it, but once you have that in your genes, it's hard to get rid of it completely.
You do also books. Yeah, you teaching or you talking. You have a talks in San Diego, Coronado about your books sometimes.
Oh, yeah. And, the Hoover Institution, again, pre-pandemic, they send those of us who are fellows around to speak around the country about our work. So I have done quite a bit of speaking as well.
Wow. This has been a great show. I appreciate your time. I know Bahman has been speaking very highly of you, and
it's good to meet you, Brett.
Looking forward to meeting you. Thank you for being on the show, right?
Yeah, thank you.
I would strongly encourage people who have pain or physical limitations to give Bahman a try. I mean, you have very little to lose, and like me, you may have a whole lot to gain.
Well, thank you everybody have a beautiful Memorial weekend, right?
Thank you very much. You guys too.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
That was fun.
Okay, everybody, I'd like to thank, of course, it's been an honor to be involved with the beginning of, even though this is, I guess, my show, I thought it was your show. But what's the name of your show going to be? Have you decided?
Not yet. We can talk together about that.
It's your show, man.
Okay.
Look, I know it's going to be very
Okay.
successful.
Okay. I hope that.
Okay, everybody. Again, if you need to get a hold of Bahman, all that information is at the bottom there. I highly recommend anybody that's having any type of pain and phantom pain that nobody can find. Maybe something that seems like maybe you're tired of all the medications you're on. I don't know, but maybe this, hopefully today, this shed some light on maybe helping you in some way.
Correct. Thank you very much.
And of course, I want to thank my sponsors because we wouldn't be here. Of course, I'd like to thank Attorney King for everything he does with his support. Sequan Casino and Resort, and Indian Motorcycle of San Diego. Great bikes, beautiful place, very nice owner, Tim Broadhead. Thank you. The gym and George Jackson, everything you do, George. You're a wonderful friend also of the show. And of course, IB Fitness, everything you do, Marina. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to doing and seeing your event today. It started at 9 already today over at IB Fitness. Yeah, it's in honor of the gentleman that used to be a Navy SEAL, and they're doing a little fitness thing and barbecue open to the public. Last and not least, of course, Nikki Rotten's, who just opened up. Great place to eat, great view, and great. If you get a chance, some of the biggest portions I've ever seen. I always split everything with Sarah because I can't eat the whole thing.
Yes. I would take my daughter there
It's great.
very soon. Yes. Thank you.
Everybody have a great Memorial Day, and thank you, Bahman.
You too. Thank you very much, Brett. Thank
Okay.
you for Sarah. She's in the background, but she does everything for us.
Everybody take care of yourselves and have a good day.